Hello everyone, welcome to my channel where we talk about things we love like gaming, shows, and anime. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of the biggest wasted opportunities in Dragon Ball Super. As you all know, the show has been pissing off lots of fans, whether they include some Dragon Ball fan service or lots of fight scenes. And I think the reason why is because they've had lots of moments where the show could have delivered, but they went with a much more toned down, effortless, or confusingly bad decision. So I think it's time we took a look at the biggest wasted opportunities in the series. By the way, this list will not be including the Tournament of Power saga since that's not over yet, and there are most definitely over 10 wasted opportunities in that saga alone. So without any more delays, let's begin. Number 10. Vegeta should have gone Super Saiyan 3 when Beerus hit Bulma. When this part came up in the Battle of Gods movie, I was a bit disappointed that they didn't let Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3, something that would have made sense, because why would he be able to put up a much bigger fight against Beerus if he's only in his Super Saiyan 1 or 2 form? And Goku in his Super Saiyan 3 form didn't do any better. So it really sucks that this opportunity was wasted. But then we got the Battle of Gods saga and that opportunity came up again. There was one more chance to make things much more interesting and actually have the Battle of God saga have a single perk against the movie version. Because I don't think there's anybody out there who prefers to watch the Battle of God saga over the movie. So this would at least keep fans satisfied. But no, there was no difference. So instead of one big middle finger to the fans for not getting Vegeta Super Saiyan 3 form, we got two big middle fingers up the butt. Thanks, Toei. We really needed that. Number 9. We should have seen Vegeta achieve the Super Saiyan God forms. So we missed out on a great opportunity to see Vegeta achieve the Super Saiyan 3 form. But hey, we know that he becomes a Super Saiyan God like Goku, and in the manga, he even shows us that he can also go Super Saiyan Red. So that's awesome. However, in both the anime and the manga, we never see how Vegeta achieves them. It's a bit of a shame considering the fact that it's always been pretty damn epic to see when a character reaches a new transformation for the first time. I think this opportunity was wasted because Toriyama couldn't come up with a legit reason to why Vegeta was able to become a Super Saiyan God without having to achieve it the same way that Goku did. So now we're just left with wondering if it only happened because Whis was training him. I mean, we did get to see his training, but that's the kind of training they go through in order to become a Super Saiyan God? Then, well, okay. Number 8. Gotenks, Gohan, and Tagoma. Both Gotenks and Tagoma could have had one hell of a fight scene, but when Gotenks arrived, he just one-shotted Tagoma in the dick, and that was it. What the hell was the point of them showing up to the battlefield if they weren't gonna be utilized for shit? I would have loved to have seen that fight. I don't even know who would win. Same goes for Gohan. He didn't look like a weakling until the resurrection of F saga begun, which left us confused as hell because if he still looked like he was in his prime in the Battle of God saga, then why did he become a twig at the beginning of the resurrection of F saga? Well, the only reason to this is that so much time has gone by and Gohan wasn't training at all. So that's what happened to Gohan. However, if so much time went by, then why the fuck does Goten and Trunks still look like they haven't aged the entire time? How long does Toei and Toriyama expect to keep them this way? Is this gonna be another Ash Ketchup thing? Where so many seasons go by, he's still the same little boy from the very first episode. Now, there are actually a lot of missed opportunities with this number alone. Gohan should have had an uninterrupted fight against Tagoma. Vegeta shouldn't have killed Tagoma and instead left him to fight against either Gohan or Gotenks while Goku fought against Frieza. But also most importantly, I would have loved to have seen Tagoma's training with Frieza instead of a quick glimpse of Tagoma beaten down after their training. Number 7. Vegeta should have killed Frieza. This is 3 lists with Vegeta already. One big problem I had with both the movie and Saga of Resurrection F is that the moment Vegeta was about to finish off Frieza, Frieza just touches the floor and all of a sudden that's the way he destroys the entire world? What? Since when could he just touch the floor and explode the entire planet? That's not how he destroys planets. I know he's gotten stronger, but that's his signature move. And he's no Beerus, he's not a god of destruction. He shouldn't be able to destroy a planet the same easy way that Beerus does it. Well, the point being that Frieza shouldn't have even destroyed the planet. I know you could say that this was a lesson for Goku to learn that he needs to finish off his opponent without any delays or whatever, but that lesson was already taught to him when he dropped his guard and Sorbet took him out. So there was no reason to do this, unless they just wanted to demonstrate that Whis can reverse time. However, that was also already explained to us when Whis said that he had to do this whenever Beerus destroys a planet while he sleeps. So again, there was no reason to why they needed to have Frieza destroy the world. Frieza didn't feel like a threat from the very beginning. He was outnumbered, there were plenty of stronger characters that could have stopped him, and Vegeta should have been the one to kill him in the end, considering the fact that he's hated Frieza since he was a kid, and he was basically beaten to death by him on Namek. What a major disappointment we got. Number 6. Universe 6 Saiyans. When we first got introduced to the Saiyans of Universe 6, I was expecting to see a new class of Saiyans that have to be at least stronger or as strong as Goku and Vegeta, because it would be disappointing as fuck if they were so weak and didn't even know that Super Saiyan transformations even existed. Well, it turns out that they went with that direction. Why? How could they go with that direction? If they don't want to show us how Vegeta became a Super Saiyan God or Super Saiyan Blue, then why are they actually getting the chance to barely reach the Super Saiyan transformation? We actually get to see the first time that Kale, and Caulifla become a Super Saiyan, and what do you know? It turns out that they achieved them in the dumbest way possible, by concentrating on that tingly feeling in their backs. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Did the creators just come up with a list of ways on how they could achieve it quicker, and instead of going with the best solution, they went with the crappiest? Of course! This way they don't need to go through all that heavy training and character development that the Saiyans went through back in Dragon Ball Z. They need to catch up, right? Well, they wouldn't have had to catch up to them if they already knew how to go Super Saiyan. It's like they were giving us mixed signals. They don't want to give characters any character development or have them go through so much tough training because that would take forever, but they also wanted to show us how they become a Super Saiyan for the first time. So they went with the biggest fuckery that they could come up with. What a waste. And don't even get me started on Kale becoming the legendary Super Saiyan. That was more disappointing than GT. Basically, in the end, the Saiyans of Universe 6 are full of Mary Sues and Gary Stews. Number 5, Monaka. I bet you all forgot about this guy. And why wouldn't you? Apparently he was only introduced to make Goku want to train harder. That's the most pointless character and reason to bring him along, especially for the tournament he competed in. Couldn't they seriously just bring in a different combatant? Heck, if Krillin and Master Roshi can compete in the fucking Universal Tournament, then why the fuck couldn't they just take Monaka's place? Monaka didn't need to exist in the first place. He wasn't a fighter, and Goku never needed another reason to get stronger. He's always aimed to get stronger. If anything, it's everyone else that needed more motivation. But bringing in a character and saying that he's stronger than you isn't going to make you say, really? Oh man, then I better train my ass off to be stronger than him. Because in the end, he's never going to fight anyone, so you'll never know whether you surpass the guy or not. Also, how is it going to work out in the end? They wasted a combatant by bringing in this random Monaka guy who can't even fight, and even after the tournament was over, they still tried to keep it a secret that Monaka is a weakling. What were they thinking? Well, what were the creators thinking? Number 4, the 2 background characters in the Universe 6 tournament. Now, back in the Universe 6 tournament, in the manga, you could see that there were a couple of guys in the background watching the fight. One of them looked like he was wearing the same armor that Frieza's henchman wore. So right away, I was expecting to see another Saiyan who's actually just observing the fight instead of competing. In the end, nothing came from them, and they were basically just people watching the fight. This could have gotten a lot more interesting if they did turn out to be Saiyans from possibly Universe 6 spectating the fight. And even better, they could have been like the Universe 6 versions of Goku and Vegeta. I mean, why the hell not? It's way better than that bland filler story we got in between the Universe 6 saga and the future Trunks saga. Number 3, Goku Black's true identity. When Goku Black first appeared, everyone was expressing their theories to who Goku Black truly is. I was hoping that it could have actually been one of the 2 guys I was spectating the Universe 6 tournament, and in the end, his partner could have been Zamasu or better, someone else, like a Universe 6 version of Raditz. I actually made my own what-if story of how I would have loved to have seen the future Trunks arc be like. But then we finally discovered who he truly was. and that was yet another god-awful disappointment. Goku Black was just another Zamasu who switched bodies with Goku. What the fuck? There were so many better ways that the creators could have gone with. I don't think anybody predicted this because it was just far too stupid to imagine, and yet it happened. That was the real identity of Goku Black. Don't get me wrong, Goku Black is one of my favorite Dragon Ball villains now, and I love that he's actually going to be playable in Dragon Ball FighterZ, but his true identity was clearly wasted. If this was going to be the result, then I would have rather gone with never knowing his true identity. It would have been 10 times better to keep it as a mystery. Number 2. How the Future Trunks arc should have ended. As I said in number 3, I love the Future Trunks arc, but I also would have rather gone with a different direction. Zamasu was not a bad villain. I mean, at least he had a motivation towards killing every Earthling, but I really think that they only went with Zamasu, a Supreme Kai in training, because they couldn't come up with anything new and original. So they just went with Toyotaro's fan-made version of Dragon Ball AF and used a similar characters to Zycor and the West Supreme Kai. Now, the Future Trunks saga was an exciting saga, and it had its ups and downs. There were a lot more positives than negatives, which is great. But then we get to the end, and that's where we got the usual Dragon Ball Super treatment once again. A disappointing finish for Goku Black and Zamasu. We get the most random conclusion. Zamasu and Goku Black fuse, which is awesome, but their reason for doing so didn't seem legit, because Goku Black was strong enough to hold his own, and Zamasu may not have been as strong enough to do so, but he was immortal, so Goku Black shouldn't have panicked at all. Not to mention the fact that he was so strong that he could create a scythe so powerful that a single slash can tear a rift in space and time. So clearly there was no real reason for him to fuse, although I knew it would eventually happen. I just expected the reasons to be a little more understandable, like actually getting overpowered by Goku and Vegeta. Maybe Goku and Vegeta should have fused first, and that's why Zamasu and Goku Black needed to fuse, so they can be evenly matched. Then another disappointing thing we got was that the Potara fusion only lasts for like an hour or less, just like the fusion dance. But the worst disappointment of all was that Trunks all of a sudden can create a big ass Final Fantasy VII sword with ki. Oh, but not just any ki. Similar to the Spirit Bomb, Trunks manages to get everyone's ki and create this big ass sword of light, and then he slices Zamasu in half with it. First of all, there aren't enough people to lend their strength. Second, Trunks was left behind in strength the moment Zamasu and Goku Black fused, so it should have been impossible for him to defeat or even keep up with fused Zamasu. In the end, I knew that eventually Goku had to use the button to summon Zeno-sama and have him destroy Zamasu, but all these final actions just sucked ass. Big time. Number 1. Future Trunks should have stayed in the present timeline. Just when you thought that the ending to the Future Trunks saga couldn't get any worse, they actually went with sending Future Trunks and Future Mai out to look for a new home. What the fuck were they thinking? Trunks lost everything that he had in his timeline. There was no reason for him to leave the present timeline again. This was actually the perfect opportunity to keep Trunks for good. This would have given him the chance to possibly reach the Super Saiyan God transformations as well. Or maybe have him training with Gohan so that maybe Gohan could become as badass as future Gohan was. But no, they got nowhere to go, but that's their problem. And now we can never depend on seeing future Trunks ever again. You know, there was actually only one good thing that could have came from having Trunks leave the present timeline. This would have been the perfect opportunity to lead the path for Xeno Trunks. He could have said something like, I want to make sure that this never happens again to any timeline. And there you go! Now we got a reason to why Trunks joins the Time Patrol or becomes Xeno Trunks, whichever sounds better. But of course, they wouldn't go with this direction because the game storylines are different Dragon Ball storylines that have nothing to do with the anime. Same goes for the movies. You know, I think that's fucking stupid. The anime is already full of plot holes up the ass. So if the movies and video games were ever to tie in together in some way, I wouldn't give a shit. It would actually help it. At least this way a lot of fans would stop using the whole canon non-canon excuse. It's dumb, it's pointless, and the entire series isn't perfect. But whatever, hate it or love it, it's just a Japanese cartoon. And with that said, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, please leave a like, share with others, and subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to turn on notifications to be the first in line to see the next video. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Tumblr to check out all sorts of fun stuff that I like to post. And we could also chat there as well. But anyways, I'll see you all in the next video, and remember to have an awesome day.